So, hello and welcome to another War Thunder video, and well, we're going to be scaling it down to some lower tiers this time, and I don't really want to do this, but well, this is a review of the plane that you see before you. This is the Hawker Typhoon Mark 1A. And oh boy, is it bad. So, battle rating of 2.7. Obviously this is going to be an arcade because I couldn't stand to play this thing in realistic. Honestly, I spaded this thing in arcade, and the second I spaded it, I said, okay, can I please put this thing up on eBay because it sucks. I fucking hate this plane. The only plane that I hate more than this is that. And I haven't even flown this yet. I know it. I haven't even flown it yet, and I know how bad it is. This thing is horrible. So I'm actually starting this in the hangar because this is one of the reasons why I hate this plane. Oh, and by the way, here you go, here's the armor, totally meaningless. So this is one of the reasons why I hate the Hawker Typhoon. It's these leading edge fuel tanks. Self-sealing fuel tanks. They might as well not be. They might as well be the same fuel tanks ripped straight out of the Zero. Because there has only been, I think, 2 deaths that I have not had from having these fuel tanks hit. And I'm not talking about being hit by 20mm mine shot rounds. I'm talking about being hit by 30 caliber machine gun fire. You know, the same fucking machine guns this thing is armed with. So, leading edge fuel tanks. One of the biggest problems with the Hawker Typhoon. And this isn't just specific to the 1A. This is a problem that all of the Typhoons suffer from. Yeah, 1B light. Yeah, come on, load in. By the way, there might be a little bit of background noise, but unfortunately I can't do anything about that. Sorry. Okay, so, Hawker Typhoon Mark 1B late. Yeah, I haven't spaded this thing, although that's really because I haven't flown the British tech tree in a while, and I really don't want to. So, come on, load in, come on. There we go. Okay. So, there you go. That much time just to show you the fucking fuel tanks on the Typhoon. Okay, so yeah. Leading edge fuel tanks, that's a problem that all of the Typhoons suffer from. And I'll keep ranting on about the 1A in the replays, so I'll see you there. Alright, so here is the Typhoon 1B, the Typhoon 1A, rather. And, well, so what are the biggest problems, aside from the leading edge fuel tanks, that I have with this plane? Well, first off, the roll rate. It's worse than a 0. Or at least it feels worse than a 0. it's... So, roll rate is terrible. And throughout the course of this video, you're going to see what I'm talking about. And actually, that leads on to the dive performance. Yes, this thing can build up a lot of speed in a dive, but let's just put it this way. If you go into a dive and you exceed 400 miles an hour, or 450 miles an hour, your roll rate becomes equivalent to that of a B-17. And if you manage to exceed 500 miles an hour, your roll rate decreases to about that of a B-17 in realistic with one aileron shot out. That is how bad the roll rate is on this plane. So, yeah, the roll rate is atrocious. So then, speed. Well, it's not very fast either. Yeah, sure, it's fast by 2.7 standards, but, well, this thing can go up against cannon-armed Mustangs. This thing can go up against P-47s. This thing is not very fast. Not only that, but it's heavy. It's a very heavy, heavy plane. And that doesn't really bode well for it. There we go, shot down a Dauntless, not very difficult. So, probably what would be the one redeeming factor of this aircraft, the armament. In fact, the armament of the Typhoon Mark 1A is the reason why I was told to fly it so much. I was begged by at least hundreds of times by people saying, Tiger, the Typhoon Mark 1A, it's amazing, fly the thing, it's great, the armament is fantastic, it's a great plane. And I flew it, and I swear to God, I never want to touch this thing again. And you know what? I'm honestly thinking about stripping the kill markings off of this plane. Which, if you guys know me if you guys have known me for at least a year, you'll know that the kill markings are basically my signature. It's basically how you identify whether or not I'm flying the plane, are there kill markings going from nose to tail? And I'm honestly thinking about stripping the kill markings off of this aircraft. I hate it that much. Oh, and by the way, yeah, 305 miles an hour in level flight after that little dive and that tiny little pitch. Just pulling out of that dive. And look at the rate that I'm losing speed right now. A P-40 would be accelerating in a climb like this. This is only like this isn't even 10 degrees. So yeah, the energy retention is non-existent. The guns are atrocious. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get the energy retention out of the way. Energy retention is completely non-existent. It has about the same energy retention as a Hurricane, which basically, like I said, non-existent. If you turn in this thing, all of your speed immediately bleeds away. If you climb, you're not going to accelerate at all. If you make any maneuver, you're going to at least lose 500 miles an hour, at least lose 50 miles an hour off of any maneuver that you make. It doesn't have any acceleration to speak of, except for in a dive, but of course you need altitude in order to dive. Oh yeah, and here's the guns, by the way. 3-second burst into a KI-61 to shoot him down. Actually, before I rant on more about the guns, here's a P-47. He only hit me a few times with his 50 cals. Look what it did to my plane. One of the things that I was told about the Typhoon was that it was durable. Oh, really? Um, yeah, I don't see that. This is one of the least durable aircraft I have ever flown. I think the Zero is more durable than the Typhoon. That is how bad this thing's durability is. I have been hit by 30 caliber machine gun fire from a P-36C and had my wing immediately burst into flames and fall off from one burst of 30 caliber fire. And by the way, 30 cals, for those of you who don't know, 7.62, 7.7, and 7.92 millimeter machine guns. Those are 30 calibers. So basically the weapons I'm firing at this Ju-88 right now. So this thing, durability is not in this plane's vocabulary. It's just... If you take any hit in this plane and you don't immediately fall out of the sky, you're lucky. And this is actually the end of the match for me. I think I make a burst at this B-34, I get an assist, and then I get rammed out of the sky by a friendly. In fact, I think here comes the friendly Hurricane right here. Oh no. Did I actually shoot this guy down? I have no idea. Another B-34. Yak 1 manages to get himself shot down, and then friendly Hurricane. Yeah. So, that was great. Next match. Alright, so for the final match of today, this is the best game I ever managed to get in the Typhoon Mark 1A. So, while that's going on in the background, the guns. So, the thing is armed with 12 7.7mm machine guns, with a total of, I think it's 3,800 rounds of ammunition. So, a lot of ammunition and a lot of guns. However, there are only 3 good things that I can say about the guns. Well, 3 good things I can say about the plane in general. It's got a lot of guns, it has a lot of ammunition, and because those guns are such a low caliber, like I said, they're only 30 caliber machine guns, they're only 7.7s, it only has a 6-second reload if you have a maxed out crew, or a crew that has full reload skill. So, yeah. And that's on an expert crew, by the way, that's not an ace crew. But I mean, pretty much anybody who has this plane should have it on an expert crew. I mean, the fucking... Especially if you have a maxed out reload skill on this, on whatever crew this plane is on, the crew training for this plane is cheap. It really is dirt cheap. So, what are the problems with the 30 caliber machine guns? Well, damage output. Yeah. Now, obviously you can get kills with the 30 cals. I mean, for Christ's sake, I've just shot down a Corsair, and in fact, I'm actually going to shoot down quite a few planes in this match. However, well, I'll get on to that in a bit, but well, yeah, the 30 cals aren't bad, but they're completely inadequate. And the reason is, and yeah, by the way, most of my kills in this plane were from fire damage, not from actually shooting people's wings off, or it was mostly pilot snipes and fire damage, not actually shooting people's wings off. which not a lot of people know this about me, but I do not count pilot snipes as kills. If I get a pilot snipe, I don't count that as an actual kill. Yeah, sure, the game counts it as a kill, but I don't see it as one. I only see shooting people's wings off or shooting their tails off as kills. So, if I kill somebody's pilot, that isn't a kill to me. That's just how it is. So yeah, the 30 caliber machine guns are not great for actually shooting down aircraft the way I shoot them down. You know, shooting people's wings off. And really no 30 caliber machine gun in the game is. Which is why you never really see me flying aircraft with 30 caliber machine guns. At least it's 50 cals. I just hate the guns, really. And not only that, but I mean, a 7.7 millimeter bullet is not very effective at shooting down aircraft. And, well, this is something that really caught the RAF by surprise in World War II when they conducted studies with their Browning 30 caliber machine guns and discovered that it on average took 3,000 rounds to shoot down a German aircraft. On average, 3,000 rounds to shoot down a German aircraft. Yeah. 3,000 bullets into a German plane to shoot it down, on average. That's pretty bad. Which is why they inevitably switched from machine guns to cannon. And they should have done that a hell of a lot sooner. So yeah. However, the problem with the machine guns is, well, they just don't do enough damage. They don't do enough damage to single-engine fighters, let alone bombers. You need at least a good 2 to 3 second burst of continuous fire to do a substantial amount of damage to an enemy plane. And even then, you probably won't kill them. So, yeah, the guns are horrible. Next, the maneuverability. This will be quick. It is basically non-existent by this tier standards. The tier 3 Typhoons will outmaneuver this thing. So yeah, the maneuverability, a Corsair or a P-47 will outmaneuver this thing. So yeah, the maneuverability, non-existent. I guess the only real redeeming quality about this aircraft is its ground attack capabilities, and well, I can say I have gotten a front line match in this plane before, and the 30 caliber machine guns are good for destroying lightly armored targets like armored cars, flak trucks, AAA emplacements, artillery, machine gun nests, stuff like that. However, then we get on to the bomb loads, and this does not look very good for this plane. At max, it has 2 500-pound bombs with a 4-minute reload on those bombs. Now, there is a 2.7 aircraft that is very similar to the Typhoon in this regard, the A-36 Apache, which is basically the first P-51 in War Thunder. It is it's a Tier 2 battle rating 2.7 American attack aircraft, or it's in the attacker line, and it has 6 50 caliber M2 Browning machine guns, and has 2 500-pound bombs as its max bomb load, and it has a 50-second reload with a fully maxed out crew. So yeah, This thing's ground attack capabilities, once again, are non-existent unless you're talking about shooting at soft targets, and even still, there are better aircraft for that. So, yeah. Also, by the way, this thing cannot take a hit. As I said in the last match, this thing has no durability whatsoever. So yeah, the likelihood of you being shot down by ground fire while you're attacking ground targets is very high. Which is one of the reasons why I don't really recommend using this thing in the ground attack role, and I tried to steal this kill on this Avenger, but couldn't quite get enough rounds into him. I was just desperate to spade this thing and just put it out of my line, just get it into the back of my hangar so I never had to look at it ever again. Oh yeah, and there you go, that's how bad the maneuverability is, and IL-2 just outturned me. Ah, God, this thing sucks. So, those of you watching this, you might be wondering, so then Tiger, if it sucks so much, why are you doing well in it? Well, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I can make any plane work. In the air-to-air role, I can make literally any plane in War Thunder do well. And if you talk to any of the longer playing members of AOD, like if you go and talk to Rubble, for those of you who are in AOD, if you go talk to him, he'll back me up on this. I can make any plane work in the air-to-air role. And I don't mean, like, I mean literally every single plane in War Thunder, at least that has, if it has forward-firing machine guns, or forward-firing guns of any caliber, I can make it work in the air-to-air role. It's just how it is. And people in AOD will back me up on that, believe me. So yeah, the reason why I'm doing well in the Typhoon really is not because the Typhoon is a good plane. It's because I'm just an exceptionally good pilot. And an exceptionally good shot, unlike most people in War Thunder. And, well, that was pretty much the end of my match. From here on out, basically, me and the entire enemy team chased after that John Dole B5N2 over there, and I killed his pilot and he flew into the ground. So yeah, that was the end of my match. That was the end of this match, which was also the best match I ever managed to get in the Typhoon Mark 1A. And it was one of the only matches in which I was not shot down in the Typhoon Mark 1A. Now, I have a positive KD in this plane, although that's because, once again, I can make this plane work. It's just, you could give me literally the worst aircraft in War Thunder, the Firebrand, and I'd still be able to do well in it. So yeah, that's not really anything special for me. So yeah, the Typhoon is just a horrible plane, and really there's no reason to research it. You don't have to research it in order to research the Typhoon. The Cannon Typhoon in Tier 3, which, honestly, I've flown the Typhoon 1B, and I don't really want to fly the 1B late because of the 1B. I just don't have high hopes for it. So, those of you looking to go down the British line, or who have started with the British line, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the 2 planes in Tiers 1 and 2 that are any good. Tier 1 and 2, 2 planes. The Sea Hurricane Mark 1C and the Spitfire Mark 2B. I know everyone is going to come screaming at me, what about the Mark IV Hurricane? The Mark IV Hurricane is not a practical aircraft. The Mark IV Hurricane is a ground attack aircraft that everyone uses in the air-to-air role. Not only that, but I hate the Hurricane. I absolutely hate the Hurricane. Did I mention how much I hate it? Because I fucking hate it. So, yeah, the Hurricane Mark IV has 40mm cannon, but the Hurricane Mark IV is a pile of junk. And maybe I'll go ahead and do a video on that, but honestly I don't even want to bring myself to flying a Hurricane, much less doing a video on it. So yeah, I don't even want to go anywhere near my Hurricanes again. With the exception of maybe the premium Russian one, because that one's actually not bad. Although it's only due to the armament. Which anybody who has that thing knows what I'm talking about. So, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and end this here, but, yeah. Typhoon Mark 1A, a horrible aircraft. Don't even bother researching it if you value your sanity and blood pressure. The next video that I do, and in fact I'm going to go ahead and record this, is going to be on the machine gun equipped Spitfires, the Spitfire Mark 1A and the Spitfire Mark 2A, and anybody who likes those planes, do not watch that video. I am going to piss all over that thing about as much as I did this. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get that video out of the way so I don't have to do it later, and I don't have to look at the atrocious piles of junk that is the 1A and the 2A Spitfires. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.